Right fellas, welcome back. I've came to see Azzam with his RX7.
Hello everybody.
Bit unique mate, two JZ or one JZ in?
It's a 1JZ from a Toyota Chaser. Well, I built the whole car myself. It was a scrapyard find, but yeah, I'm quite proud of it.
So it was originally, this car was in a scrapyard. You seen it, didn't you? You seen
yeah,
it in a
yeah.
scrapyard.
I first fell in love with it when I saw it in a scrapyard. I was getting some parts from my MX-5 at the time. Obviously, I love my MX-5, but when you see an RX-7, it's something else, isn't it?
Cooler,
So I saw it and I fell in love with it. Tried to buy it. The guy didn't want to sell it until 2 years later. I found it again in a barn, abandoned. So I ended up finding who owned it and then bought it off her.
So it was just a shell, literally no wheels?
No, it wasn't
no
even
interior?
rolling. No, it wasn't even a rolling shell or anything. I ended up finding most of the bits myself, but I think I bought it in January 2018, and I booked time in August in Germany in August 2018, and that was the inspiration to get it finished. So
the Nürburgring?
Yeah, exactly.
Did you take it? Yeah,
took it to Nürburgring, took it to the Autobahn. Nothing went wrong with it, you know, surprisingly, for a car built by myself. Especially me, you know, so.
So you put the engine in?
Yeah, I put the engine in.
Can we put the bonnet and have a look?
Yeah, of course. Let me just pop it.
So you put the engine in? How hard was it to do? Because I imagine an RX-7 engine is a lot lower and smaller than a...
Well, the length of it as well is actually, it's a much longer engine than 1JZ. For example, the original 13B usually doesn't go past the actual strut tops. Technically, I would say, well, I know people would disagree with me here, but I would say the 13B is technically a mid-engined car because everything seems to be in the middle of the car. It's before the front axle, so. But obviously, when you put a 1JZ in it, you end up making the car fit the engine. So yeah.
How did you mount it then? What you done for engine mounts and stuff like that?
Engine mounts, I've done everything myself. The main issue I had was ground clearance and the subframe, so I ended up designing my own subframe by using CAD. I designed the bottom end of the sump of the 1J. It was very basic, but it did the work, and I designed the actual for the front of the chassis of the RX-7, and I thought, what's going to be the best sort of way I can actually get the 1J in, keep the mounts in. And the issue I had the majority of the time was 1J swaps is they're quite a tall engine. The steering rack's quite high on the RX-7s as well, because the steering rack's quite in the middle on these as factory. But yeah, no, it was fine. I ended up relocating the steering rack, did a bit of work to the suspension hubs, and everything seems to be fine from there, you know. So
it's been the Nürburgring if it lasted that.
I know that was the true test, you know. I got it finished 2 weeks before I actually booked time to the Nürburgring. Obviously, I was very tense. I was like, please don't break, please don't break, please don't break. I managed to get about 160 on the Autobahn. That was quick enough.
Miles per hour, flat out? Yeah,
well, that wasn't flat. Well, I would say it only had maybe about 5 miles an hour left in the actual sort of gearing on it, but it did well. It did fine.
I bet 160 is pretty scary, is it?
When you get to about 100, about 110, the other cars start to look stood still. So you feel like you're going to crash it. And all it takes is one guy to pull out in front of you, and that's it. You're going into a solid object, you know.
That's scary,
Yeah, but no, especially in a car you've built, you know, and you've only tested it for 2 weeks. So, but no, it performed flawlessly there and back. Went to Germany to the Nürburgring. Did a 9 minutes 12 seconds.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, well, it's not the best, but my brakes boiled over, so that was something I could look into. But other than that, you know, I was quite happy with how it performed. It didn't break. I did a few laps on it, got used to the first couple of laps, took a few photos, and the last lap I just thought, if it's going to break, let me push it. And I pushed it, and then it didn't break, and I drove it all the way back home again, and nothing went wrong with it.
Right. What gearbox you got on? RX-7?
It's still got the factory FD box. Now that's the...
Is that an RX-7 gearbox?
That's an RX-7 gear. Now everybody will sort of not agree with that, because people say the RX-7 boxes can't handle torque and can't handle power. Well,
it's working, it's doing it.
4 years of abuse, non-stop, nearly every day. It was my daily at one point.
Was it?
And it never broke other than the rear diff, which is my fault, because I was clutch kicking the hell out of it. But the gearbox has been fine. I mean, I can't really fault it. The main issue I had with the gearbox is that there was nothing available to make the 1J fit the RX-7 box.
Right.
So like I said, I had to go back to CAD and design an adapter plate to fit the RX-7 box on the 1J body, on the block, sorry, and it worked.
So did you machine something up?
I actually made the CAD file, and I sent the sort of the file to a company over in Poland. Told them it's going to be a prototype. I might be able to sell a few of them, and they made one for me of a discount price and sent it over, and it worked. And I sent them an email, said, look, you can have the file, make as many as you want. So
Can you still get them if people?
Oh, I mean, I can still email the company and say, look, I'm after another one. Can you make me another one?
Oh, well,
so
that's
they've
good.
still got the files and stuff. So
you're still on RX7 brakes, factory brakes?
yeah, I'm using the FD brakes. They're big enough. Like I said, they did boil over, but because there was no cooling or no airflow going into them, so I've added a few ducts coming from the splitter and the bumper to the brake discs, and I've never had any brake overheating issues ever since.
Can we go for driving it?
Yeah, of course.
Oh, it sounds nice, mine, doesn't it? The 1G, it's got.
It sounds a lot deeper than your regular 13B. You know, your little.
Did you never fancy putting the one? What's it? RX7 engine called the 1B.
The 13B, yeah, 13B Roo. That's what.
So
no, it's not the Roo. Sorry, it's the 13B.
Did you never think of putting the 1B in then?
The
13B, sorry.
I was going to, but the prices of them were just crazy.
Are they?
And that's for like a used engine. And you don't even know the compression or anything like that. And I just thought, you know what? It's like $3,500 for a 13B. Oh, this 1J which I got imported from Japan for 800 quid, and I thought, well, it's a no-brainer. And everybody that knows me knows I love Toyotas, and I thought, well, I know everything about Toyotas when it comes to wiring, and I'm pretty good with fabrication, as you can tell. So it's just everything seems to be working fine, and I put the 1J in because I always fancied getting something odd, making something different, you know.
I like cars that are different.
I mean, I could have easily put the 13B in, but then I would have made the internet happy, but I would have hated it because I would have been the one using it and driving it, you know. So
it's easily swapped back as well, really, isn't it? If someone wants, if you wanted to,
oh yeah,
you can always take this engine out.
Oh, you can easily take the engine out, put the original subframe in, and that's it. Because the cars have been modified much. It was just the subframe that took most of the fabrication and change.
So is it on coilovers?
Yeah, it's on HSD Monopro coilovers. They were obviously for an RX7, but I got them from Driftworks, and I asked them, well, I've got a 1J, can you put some stiffer springs on the front, because obviously a 1J is heavier. And they did that, and yeah, the suspension is a little bit bumpy, but I'm glad the suspension doesn't bottom out. That's the main thing.
Mate, this feels faster than this feels quicker than
276.
276 brake horsepower.
Yeah, the gentleman's agreement.
It feels faster than that. Have you had it on a rolling road?
No, I haven't. To be honest, it's only got an intake and exhaust. Factory boost, factory turbo, everything else is factory on it. But it pulls well.
It certainly does. It must be over 300.
I don't know. I'm going to say 276 to keep the internet happy.
I'm going to say it's over 300.
Yeah, but dyno feels over 300. So.
My Sierra, I've got a Sierra Cosworth, that's about 270, and it feels quicker than that.
Does it really?
Aye, a lot quicker. Wow. Feels quicker than my Subaru, and that's 270.
Oh, really?
Aye.
Oh, well, it's a Japanese 270 then, isn't
it? Must be, aye.
So, like I said, the turbo kicks in quite low, because it's quite a small turbo from factory. But you have to think, this engine was in a Toyota Chaser, which is like a 4-door heavy,
big old thing.
Wow, look at that Escort.
The old Mark IV Escort.
Oh, that's beautiful. I completely standard with wheel trims.
I've loved RX7s and I love 2JZs, well, 1JZs, 2JZs. So to me, this is a perfect combination.
Yeah, see, I've
and it's the right amount of power for me.
Yeah,
I've never been one for like mad power. I like enjoy just getting out and enjoying the noises and the drive.
It's also just the noise itself, you know, like.
It does pull well, mine, doesn't it?
The speedometer is fucking brilliant. Oh wow! And now it pulls and pulls and pulls. It just keeps going. As the Volkswagen guys may say, it pulls like a train. You know?
This one?
Oh, there's another one there.
RX7.
Whoa, look.
White one as well. Nice, isn't it?
That's nice. That one. I might
looks like TJ Hunt's.
It does. I might have to go there, see how much he wants for it. You know.
mate. Thanks for meeting up, though.
Oh,
Thanks a
no,
lot.
anytime, man.
You've got a YouTube channel as well, haven't you?
Yeah, I do like reviews on sort of
Car parts.
car parts, cheap car parts, and I sort of, well, I don't really, I go into depth, way too into depth with them. So if you like getting into the nitty gritty stuff, that you like that. I mean, for example, I did a video on this and how to wire ignition, you know, standard ignition cores on this to make it run better, and it worked. I do all sorts of things, like I check out cheap turbos, check out cheap suspension, how to tune carburetors, how to
Really?
make sure they're working. Yeah.
I'll leave a link below, fellas.
Yeah, just you're more than welcome to subscribe if you want to.
Check it out. Check it out. Have you got an Instagram as well?
Yeah, my Instagram is Azzam185.
I'll leave that below as well, fellas.
Yeah, down below.
Down below. But I'll catch you on the next one. Thanks for watching. See you soon.
Peace, everybody.